Hi grade ones! Today we will be learning about measurement, and this week I want to teach you about lighter and heavier and also how to use a ruler. So first we're going to start off about talking about lighter or heavier. So if you think about the things around your house, some things are really easy to pick up, so those things are light. So the easy things to pick up, those are the light ones, and something that's really difficult to pick up that you would need to use both hands and a lot of your muscle power, then those would be the heavy things. So for example, a car would be heavy, right? You cannot lift a car. A really heavy rock, or maybe some furniture in your house, those are all heavy things. Some light things would be something like your stuffed animal, your pillow, your clothes. Those are all light. It's really easy to pick them up. Now in math class, when we measure things, we are going to use this thing called a scale. And how a scale works is, I'm just going to flip it on its side so you can see it easier, is that it tells you which is heavier and which is lighter. So for example, if this side is heavier, the scale will move down and this one will go down closer to the table. If this side is heavier, then it will go like that. So this scale, it can only tell you what is heavier. So it compares the two things you put in it and tells you which one is heavier and which one is lighter. So let's see how you can use it. So for example, if I have 5 of these color cubes in my hand here, and I put them here, then of course this one is down. It's touching the table because this one has nothing in it. So this one is heavier. If I put only 3 cubes in here, this one has 5, this one 3, as you can see, it doesn't move down because 3 cubes is lighter than 5. But if I keep adding, it starts moving, and then finally, number 6, it will move it down. So now, because I have 6 here, I have more of them, and they're heavier than this side. Okay, let's measure some more things. Okay, so I have 2 different things in each hand. So I have 2 of these blue shapes, and then in this side I have 2 of the foam shapes. So before I measure them, take a guess at home. What do you think will be the heavier one? These foam shapes or these plastic shapes? Okay, let's see. So first I'll put the foam shapes in, and then, okay, so what happened? This one, it stayed down and it's down. This one, it stayed up. So that means that this one is lighter than that one. Now what happens when I add some more shapes in? Let's see. Make a prediction at home. Do you think that this side will go down? Do you think this one will become heavier if I add more shapes? So this side went down. So now these shapes are heavier than this side. Okay, so that's it for the scale and heavier or lighter. So now we're going to move on to using a ruler. So I have 2 rulers here. This one is one that you might have seen in class, and we sometimes use this to make a straight line. Because it's see-through, it's kind of hard to see on the camera. So that's why I made this one out of paper. But the important things that you can notice on a ruler is that there's lines and numbers. So I will put this one to the side, but that's mostly what you've already seen before. This ruler here I made myself, and you can see that there's lots of numbers on there. So what happens is when we are measuring, the ruler helps us to know how long something is. So we use something called centimeters, which is the space between the lines. So this is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3. So all of these numbers show centimeters. So if something, for example, I have this book and I want to know how many centimeters it would be, I would line the book up at the top to the top of the ruler, and that's the top of the book, and I would look down and I would see it goes to the 8. So that means that this book would be 8 centimeters. Okay, so that's how I would use the ruler. I'm going to look and see to what number the object stops or closest to that number, and then that's how much it is. So let's measure a few more things to see and test out how we can use a ruler. So if I want to measure the book this way, I can put my ruler to the side here, and I will line it up, and then I will look and see, oh, it goes to the 5. So I know that this book this way would be 5 centimeters. So it goes to the 5. Do you see how it stops at the line? So that shows me it's 5. Okay, now let's try measuring something different. How about this pencil? So I'm going to take my ruler. I can line it up at the top. It's very important that we line it up and look at the top and make sure that we're using it properly. And then I look at the tip of the pencil, and it's kind of it's kind of at this line, in between 7 and 8. So I will say that it's closer to 7. So I'm going to say 7 centimeters. Now, if you notice up here, grade 1s, the number doesn't start at 1 here. And that's because this is one space. So 1, 2, 3. So the space here is 1 centimeter. So if it started here, then the ruler would be wrong. So that's why we always start at the first line here, 1. And when I measure it, I start at the top of the ruler. If I start measuring here, then look, how big of my pencil has changed. So before, when I measured it, it was 7. But now, if I start at the 1, then it's now going to be 8. So my measurement is wrong. That's why we always start measuring at the very top of the ruler. So even if I was going to use this ruler, for example, so if I'm going to use this ruler and I look at the numbers here, again, I'm going to start at the top and measure here. So that's the most important thing when you're using a ruler. You have to make sure that you are lining it up properly. Okay, so let's measure one last thing. Let's use this cube here. So I'm going to, again, line it up at the top, and then I will measure it. So this one is 2 centimeters this way. And the cool part about a cube is if I turn it, it's actually the same. 2 centimeters again. Okay, so that's it for the math lesson for this week. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.